we have nothing. We just have something small, one room. Dad has told us now it is on us to go out there looking for business.
Yeah.
Yes, we didn't know anyone, we knew no one. So now we would go out there, go to the caretakers, we talk to them in a nice way, we tell them, can you introduce us to the owner of this property? Then some would turn us down, some would be willing. So kidogo kidogo we started getting the first client. We got the first client and I remember we celebrated. We celebrated, in fact, that day we took mandazis and...
Wait, what? If something happens to me or I pass on, will my children continue this legacy? Do you think that's a concern, doing business together with your children?
For parents, it is important, I advise them, it is important for you to involve your kids, especially at a very early age. You're supposed to expose your kids to all these businesses, like what my dad did. The reason as to why we are proudly carrying on his legacy is because now he showed us everything. Personally, I don't say I chase money, but I just want to pursue meaning and significance. I want to be a person of value. A good name is more than riches, it's more than everything. Because money is a tool. For me, I've learned that if I don't chase money, then money will follow me.
Good. Hey guys, welcome to today's episode of LNS. My name is Lynn Ngugi, and as always, we get to meet for another thought-provoking conversation where we get to do the three things we are doing this season. We are learning and relearning. I don't know if you have been in business for a long time, but my guest today has been in it for 16 good years. And when someone tells me they've actually operated a business for that long, one of the things that I love to ask is the how. How was your discipline like? How has consistency been like for you? And also, how have you managed to be in business in an environment or in a niche that people thought, you know what, this was not possible? Sometimes I say the business is around us. I know we want to go for the big things. We want to go for what is already been achieved, but sometimes you should be okay in being a pioneer in your own field. I'm about to let her introduce herself so that she can walk us through her story and also help us understand what does it take to be in business for so long. But before I do that, I want to acknowledge the amazing subscribers who have followed this platform. Guys, now I wake up, we are at 1.27. Again, I wake up tomorrow, we are at 1.28 million subscribers. And I'm like, you guys, you are really making us proud here. Me and the team, every time we see the numbers are picking up, you know, we just know you're appreciating the kind of content that we are giving you. So we appreciate you. Karibu sana if you are new here. And also to say thank you to my incredible team that gets to put this work together. You know, production can be a bit hectic and sometimes all you do is see Lynn in front of your screen. But guys, it takes a lot of people to be able to put this together. So thank you so much, Team LNN, for always coming through. And remember, if you want to share your story with us, info@lnn.digital, that's where you can be able to contact us. And you never know, you could be the one sitting next on this episode. So now, without further ado, please allow me to let my guest introduce herself, and I hope you have your notebook ready because we are about to learn and relearn and also get inspired by her conversation today. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm feeling very much okay. Happy to be here. I see your studio.
Yes.
It's very amazing. It looks nice. I love this place.
I appreciate it.
Yes, I'm happy to be here.
You look amazing.
Thank
Everything,
you.
nails done, hair done, outfit looking very beautiful. But I know we are about to get into a very beautiful show. But before we do, maybe looking at that camera, could you introduce yourself and tell our people what you do?
Okay, thank you so much, Lynn, for giving me this chance.
Yes.
I'm very excited to be on this show. First of all, let me start by giving you your flowers, the virtual flowers.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the job that you are doing. I know you are not just telling stories, but at least you are changing lives. You are giving voice to the voiceless, and you're also restoring dignity. So I'm so amazed, and I'm so humbled to be here together with you. Okay, let me start by introducing myself. My name is Njambi Jonjo. I'm an entrepreneur. I run a business. I run a company called Great Mwanzo Properties and Management Valuers for 16 years now. I'm a mother of 4 amazing babies. My firstborn, 15 years.
Wow.
Secondborn, 10 years. That born 6 years, and I have my last born 2 years.
Terrible
Will
too.
be turning terrible too. Will be turning 2 years old this Saturday.
3 or 2? Turning 2.
2 years. 2 years. We'll be celebrating her birthday this Saturday. Yes.
How we just celebrated Mother's Day the other day.
Exactly.
So happy Mother's Day to you.
Happy belated Mother's Day to everyone out there. When I look at mothers, I see the strength that they have because they carry so many things in their heart, on their shoulders. So I just pray for mothers every day when I wake up in the morning. I see what's around mothers because maybe you're an entrepreneur, you also have babies, you also are spouse to somebody.
Yes.
So it takes a lot of grace for you to deal with all these things.
Okay.
So it is an amazing job. I congratulate all mothers. Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
And it's amazing to have you here because I'm always fascinated by successful people who actually started from scratch. I think it's one thing to be inspired by someone's journey and you can be able to go back. As I was going through your story all the way, you know, the Kayoles, and I was like, oh my God, these people, they've come from far. That really fascinated me. This is the part that everyone gets to see now. Lucy, aesthetics, beautiful, looking amazing. But if we were to go back in time, did you ever think you would be here?
To be very honest, Lynn, let me start by saying I never thought that I would be here today. It has taken a lot of grace. It has taken hard work. It has taken a lot of resilience for me to have reached where I've reached. As we get to continue with this story, people are going to learn the reason as to why I'm saying it has taken a lot of discipline, resilience, and hard work. But first of all, I would like to share with our audience what I'm learning as I continue working in my business.
Good.
What am I learning? I'm learning that it takes a lot of deliberate effort and being intentional for you to achieve your goals. Everyone in life, I believe, for each and every individual out there, all of us have goals. But for you to achieve your goals, be it spiritual growth, be it personal goals, be it business goals, you have to be very intentional for you to achieve goals. You don't just wake up, you think, yes, you have dreams, but if you don't do what it takes for you to achieve those dreams, then you'll just keep on being a dreamer, but you won't reach where you want to reach. That's why I said it's very important for you to be very deliberate, intentional if you want to achieve your goals. That is what I'm learning even as I continue working in my business. What I'm unlearning.
Love this, love where we are going. Let's go.
Yes, what I'm unlearning. I'm unlearning that I remember when my dad passed away. We'll get to learn more about that as we continue with the show. I thought the idea that I have to do everything by myself, you know, that is where now most of us go wrong as business people. Because sometimes you feel like you want to take everything by your own shoulders. You want to be the tea girl. You want to be the one who is filing the documents in the files.
Yes.
So I've learned the art of delegation. So I've decided to strengthen the team that works for Great Mwanzo so that I ensure that they assist me. And I've learned by doing this, it's not a weakness. This is wisdom. Because now you get a lot of work and sometimes you feel like you're overwhelmed. But once you strengthen the team that works for you, they feel like they are the owners of this business. Then you'll be good to go. Then you rise together as a company. So
Love
that
it.
is what I'm learning. Okay, what I'm relearning is purpose over profit.
Wow.
Yeah, even as I continue working, you know, most of the business people, yes, we look at the profits or the numbers. We want to grow. I started with 1 client. I want like 1,000 clients. How do I get to 1,000 clients? Sometimes we forget to remember the purpose, the reason, the why.
Wow.
What made you start?
Wow.
So you find sometimes people rush. They just don't think about making a difference in people's lives. Because if you get this job, it is important for you to ask yourself, even as a business person, am I making any difference in this person's life, or am I just interested in profit? That's why I'm saying it is important. I'm relearning to make sure whenever I get any property for me to manage, I ensure that I add value to these people. If the houses are vacant, then I ensure I fill them up. If this person maybe was not maximizing on rent collection, then I ensure that we maximize on rent collection. That is what I'm relearning. Yes.
I love that. 2 things that you've said that have stood out for me. The power of delegation. And I feel like this is a struggle for every startup or every entrepreneur in their early days. Personally struggled with it. You know, the way you say you are the IT girl, the receptionist, the HR, the producer, the host, every single thing, you know.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not easy, because when you're starting, unfortunately, if you don't have the budget to fill a whole office with people from different careers, then you get to be everything. You get it? But for me now, hearing so many people saying that was a weakness I had not seen, because I feel like once you delegate, your job becomes so easy.
It becomes very easy. Then there's efficiency. Efficiency means that the job is well done. But imagine I have a client who is calling me right now to go and see the property. See the person who is going to take the leases to these tenants. See the person who is supposed to cook tea for the visitors who are coming into the office. You know, this is a lot of work. So I feel like when you delegate, there's a lot of efficiency.
I love it.
And things are done right, because you also hire the people with the right, what it takes for this person to be in this position. So when you go for the right qualifications.
And also, again, something you said, the purpose of profit.
Purpose of a profit.
How does money look or feel to you right now? How has your perception about money changed?
Okay, that's a very good question, Lynn. Okay, over time, I've learned that money is not everything. Money is not everything because, personally, I don't say I chase money, but I just want to pursue meaning, significance. When I say meaning and significance, I say I want to be a person of value. A good name is more than riches. It's more than everything, because money is a tool. Money is a tool which makes you, maybe you want to buy something, you want to do something. So I mean, for me, I understand money is a tool. But for you to get this tool, just do the honest way of doing whatever you are doing so that you can achieve this. Because sometimes we get to forget. You see, like some people have the mentality of a hunter, not of a farmer. That's why we just see quick gratification. You just want to do things and quick wins. How can I do this? You don't even want to care. The human element is not there. You just want to do what it takes for you to get money. It doesn't matter the process that you're going to use. So you are interested in just getting money. For me, I've learned that if I don't chase money, then money will follow me.
Good.
Exactly. That is what I've learned over time.
You know, when people say that, it sounds cliche. Today, money followed me. I'm telling you, I didn't chase it. And I know it sounds cliche. It sounds cliche. But today, I was like, wait, what? And I know we will expound on that. Maybe we'll have you here on our second episode on our relationship with money, because that's something I feel like a lot of us need to have a healthy relationship and connection with money. But on the show, I always say, every testimony has a test. For our audience to understand why you are sitting here, they must also be able to relate with a couple of challenges that you've gone through. So from a place you are very comfortable in, maybe walk us through your life growing up, the tests, the challenges, and how did we get here?
My story. It's the story of loss, lessons, and growth. I'm okay to share the story. Because life has not been very easy. Let me start by saying I was brought up in a modest lifestyle, a very humble beginning. We started our life with our mother, who is not there because my mom passed on when I was 5 years old. She passed on when I was very young. My sister was 3 years old. May her soul rest in peace. We're okay. So when I got to learn about my mom, because now it's a story, a 5-year-old, there's nothing much he can know to do with her mother. But now, when I grew up, when I was of age, then my aunties, they explained to me what happened to mom. So they told me my mom went to the hospital. She was going to get her third born, but she didn't make it together with the baby. That is how she passed on. Now, from that time, we were taken to our grandmother's place, a place called Mount Kilimambogo, Monyo. Kilimambogo, as you go to Thika Landless, there's a place called Mount Kilimambogo, Katuanyaga Monyo. That is why we were taken after my mom passed on. So we grew with my grandmother. My grandmother was a good person because at least she introduced us to church at a very early age. She was a disciplinarian. She could punish us whenever we did wrong things. Like all of us when you're kids, sometimes you get to misbehave here and there. So my grandmother was a disciplinarian. I remember like my sister, by that time she was very young. So she kept on crying every day. We went to bed. She would cry every day. I can't even tell, you know, you were discussing with her the other day. I was asking, she's called Tabi. Tabi, what would make you cry every day when we went to sleep? And again, I think she was missing the mother. Yeah, that is what maybe we thought, because now mom was not there. But now we faced hardships because my grandmother didn't have much. She was a farmer. She used to go to the farm. In fact, we knew how to do the farming work at a very young age, how to take care of goats, cows. When we were there in Oshago, we used to do all that work. The many works, we did all those jobs. Then from there, we were taken to a public primary school. It's called Muslim Primary School. That is where we schooled for some few years. From there, my dad remarried. After he remarried, then we moved from my grandmother's place. Then we went to where now my father had bought a piece of land, now where they were staying with my stepmom. We went there. So we went through the primary school. Life was not very much okay, let me say that, because in our family, I didn't say a conducive environment. Let me just say that. Let me use those words. Because now, I would say my stepmom and my dad, they were not in very good terms. There was a lot of disagreement, fights. I would see a lot of fight in that house. So whenever two people are fighting, then the kids obviously are the ones that are affected. Yeah, we were very much affected. And at some point when I was growing up, I wished, now that my mom passed on, why don't I just even myself just pass on and follow her, so that I don't continue seeing such things what I'm seeing in this family, because it was not a very good environment to be in. But by the grace of God, yes, we grew. We grew. I remember even for my KCPE, when I sat for my KCPE, I was not very much okay when I sat for the KCPE because I was mentally disturbed. So for me, I didn't even concentrate with the questions, what they were asking on those papers. I just guessed everything. Then I didn't get very good marks. But of course, after doing my KCPE, I went to high school. I think in high school, then I got to a point of self-realization. Because when I went to Form 1, that is Makuyu Girls. Makuyu Girls, I went there. When I went to Form 1, I started performing very well. So I knew in primary I was not serious with education. But maybe it is because now my parents were not in very good terms. That is the reason as to maybe I didn't do well the KCPE. So I started performing very well. So I went through the high school in a very good way. I finished. I got a good grade. Then from there, I went to campus. Going to campus, when I finished Form 4 in the year 2005. So when I cleared high school, I cleared high school, I went to campus, which is Mount Kenya University. That is where now, by that time, my late dad, who is not there today, he decided to start a company in a very humble way. He decided to start a company. And before, let me just take you back a bit. Yeah, let me take you back a bit. Before he started the company, after 10 years, you see, I told you that he remarried.
Yes.
He remarried. After he remarried, then after 10 years, the marriage was not okay and they separated. Together with my stepmom now. They separated. So he went to a place called Kayole. Kayole is where my dad went. I think from that time, from what he told us later, after the years, he told us that he went to Kayole to start a business of selling water, bottled water. But now, as he was going through Kayole, he saw so many properties. So as he was going around, he changed his mind from doing water business to doing now property management business. So
back then ilikuwa caretaker wa manyumba, because haikuwa na aesthetics like now it's property management, but back then because I remember when we were living in Huruma, there's a woman who would always come Mama Lucy, hi. Funny thing, and she would always come and keep knocking on doors, lipa. Is that the same model or did your dad do it a bit differently?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now, my dad did it a bit differently, but it starts from somewhere always.
Yes.
So when dad started, he called us for a meeting. Now, together with my sister, because I appreciate my father up to date. And I think the reason as to why he decided to share this story is just to let the parents know out here. It is important for you to involve your children in your business at an early age. Because now when you involve them at a very late age, then they don't get to grasp the details, the skills. You know, there are some things you'll never learn in school. You only get to learn them in doing that business. For example, there are things you say, money, you can't learn those lessons, not until you practice. That is when you get to know what is supposed to be done. So Dad now called us for a meeting. He decided to do the registration of this company. And he told us the vision. And we decided to believe in his vision because we could see when we were growing up, Dad had bought another wall hanging. It was written, if you think you can, then you can. If you think you can't, you can't. There's that wall hanging, which I used to read like on a daily basis. And up to date, I remember those words because they are very strong words. It is, I think from what he meant by that wall hanging, it meant that it's all in your mindset. Depending on what you believe in, that is what you achieve. So Dad has registered the company. And by that time, he didn't have much because before that, he was employed somewhere. He used to work with Posta in Thika. He was employed there for some years. Then after he left that work, he decided now to start his own company where he involved us as his children. So we continued. So what we did, Dad, when we went to Kayole, because now after they separated with my stepmom, we were taken to Kayole, a single room of 3,000 shillings. That way we were taken with my sister. Dad has registered the company. Now we have nothing. We just have something small, one room. Dad has told us now it is on us to go out there looking for business. Yes, we didn't know anyone. We knew no one. We had never gone to Kayole. Dad had never been to Kayole. Not any one of us had been to Kayole before. So now we would go out there, go to the caretakers. We talk to them in a nice way. We tell them, can you introduce us to the owner of this property? Then some would turn us down. Some would be willing. So kidogo kidogo, we started getting the first client. We got the first client and I remember we celebrated. We celebrated. In fact, that day we took mandazis and...
Wait, what?
For getting the first client.
The celebration is mandazi.
Yeah, mandazi. Mandazi and some tea. For getting the first client.
Mandazi was a luxury.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I remember that time. We would go for evening classes. And during the day we are working. But one thing I thank my dad over the years, because sometimes life can only be understood when you look back. You can't understand when you are where you are. But when you look back, that is when you get to understand some things. Dad would involve us in everything. He was a transparent man. He was very transparent in his everything, be it his assets, his way of doing things. So he would involve us in everything. So we got the first client. We went out there. We started kidogo to that way. People now, our name started, people started trusting us. They trusted Great Mwanzo. We continued like that, pole pole. So for the client we got, wakaanza kuletana. They started now referring other business people to our company. Why? The reason as to why maybe they started referring other people to our company is because now they saw now here there's good service. Because there's no way you can refer another person to a certain place
if there's not good service.
Exactly. So we started like that. Even I remember at some point, one of the clients said, "Hey, you people now, you have grown. You should move from this small office to a bigger office. I think now it is time for you to move from this office to a bigger office." So now we moved after some time when Dad felt that we were comfortable. Then he said, yeah, it is now time to move. So we just moved from that place. It's called Bush Market. Bush Market, Kayole Rock Stage. Because I know that place up to date. So we just moved across the road. There's a place called Zentrim Plaza. That is where we moved to, a bigger office now. But now, one thing I can say, even when we have moved from this place, small place, to this other place, there's some things that I've learned, even as we continue doing this business. What have I learned from my dad? I learned that, or I learned that time now, when we were doing this business with my dad, I learned that, Dad, there are some values that he instilled in us. Yes, he started a vision which we are still watering up to date. But even as we went to this other side, Dad said something very important. Remember, it is not what you have, it is what you're going to do with what you have.
Love that.
Yes. So we continued working. Dad was a good man because even the way he treated people with in a very good way. He was a transparent man. He didn't even like looking down on people. He was okay with everything. So I remember this one client who came to their office. He's a pioneer because he started together with us. And as we continued working, this client came to the office asking, Great Mwanzo, I know how you started. You started in a very humble way because now you started in Kayole. You started going around looking for clients, and now you are in this place. Then he said, I just want to, this client said, I just want to give you one of my properties so that I test on how you're going to do this work for me.
Wow.
Yes. And this client gave us his one house. Then after some time, he continued bringing more business to this company. But now, rather than that, Lynn, I just want to share, when we started, I remember what would happen, because I remember by that time when we were going for the evening classes, we would go to the office in the morning, and Dad would, by that time we were not the managers. Yes, we are his kids, me and my sister. But now the funny thing is, we have a manager in the office. This manager has a book. If they come late, ensure that you draw a line on this book.
Oh, for you guys.
For us, yeah. Ensure that you draw a line on this book, because why are they coming late? It's a disciplinary measure.
Yes.
That is what I think he meant by that. So the discipline was instilled in us at a very early age. Because when we would call it, then we used to get very annoyed. We would ask, why is Dad doing this to us? By that time, we could not understand the reason as to why he's saying, when you come late, you draw a line.
Yes.
And then after you draw this line, you are going to be deducted 200 shillings for the many days you've been coming late.
In your own father's company.
Exactly. I'm telling you, at this age, Dad told us that we are going to introduce, we will be giving ourselves a salary for each and every person that is working here.
Yes.
Because I remember for my sister and I, we were paid each 6,000 shillings. Elf sitter.
Good money. That's not so bad.
6,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6,000. And you are supposed to pay rent using that money. You're supposed to use that money going to school as fare. How can you manage with 6,000?
See later. Okay. Hey, I get it. Jipange.
Where? Jipange. So,
Ukambwa, you are an adult now.
You are an adult.
Jipange.
Jipange na mshahara yako. There's nothing that you're going to add, you just deorganize.
Yeah.
Because what Dad would do, he used to pay for the school fees.
Yes.
School fees, yes, I'm going to pay.
Yeah.
Then something else Dad will tell us is that you are here under my... I'm the one who is taking care of everything. So remember, if you get married, I remember he would use those words. If you happen to get married, then
I stop.
There's no way I'm going to help you anymore, because now there's no way I'm going to help you, and now
you are someone's wife. I love that.
Yeah. So we were very careful. We were very careful not just
to get married.
Not to get married, then we lose
early,
this.
Of course.
Early. Yeah. So those are some of the things the Dad showed us.
Yeah.
And again, now as we continued working, we were approached by banks. Because now our name started going, and even the bank started approaching us. So I remember in the year 2015, we were approached by Equity Kayole.
Wow.
They introduced a product for the customers. This product was, most of the people in Eastlands, they don't have title deeds.
Yes.
They either have allotment letters, certificates, but for the titles, they are not there. Huruma, all those areas, they don't have.
Yeah.
So they introduced a product for the landlords, because they saw that maybe for many people, they have the ability to pay if they want a facility, but they don't have the right documentation. So what they did, they decided to vet some agents. So for those people who qualified, Great Mwanzo being one of them, they were put in their panel. So whenever a client would come looking for financial assistance, then they will be told, the first thing you're supposed to do, just go to this company, because one of the conditions is that you're supposed to be in their company. They're supposed to manage the property for you. Then from there, then you can qualify.
Wow.
So partnering with banks, we started doing forums. I remember those days when we'd go to properties, like you ask a question, you ask whether we would go docking nose.
Yes.
That is how we started, by the way. We started by going, whenever we will get a certain business. Yes. After we do the right documentation, we ensure that all those forms have been signed. We would go out there, ensure that we go to tenants, us by ourselves, because by that time we had not employed anyone. We ensure that we give them those forms. We do the work by ourselves, everything, the nitty-gritties. We used to do all the work. So after we partnered with the banks would do business forums, so do joint business forums together with the banks, whereby we would ensure that we call potential clients, those people now who are not with us. Then we organize for a meeting. Now after you do those business forums, then by that time you'll see maybe we have gotten 2 or 3 clients. That is how we used to get clients. So over time, pole too, we went that way. That is how we used to get business.
I love it. Allow me to stop you there kidogo.
Okay.
Because I want people to understand your model of operation.
Okay.
Because again, we are identifying businesses people would not easily see there's a gap here.
Yeah.
You saw a problem and you filled in the gap and you provided the solutions. When you say you are managing someone's property, what role are you playing? You can use me, have a property. Why do I need someone, me as Lynn, why do I need someone to manage my property? Why can't I just manage my own property? What are the problems here that you've witnessed that you are trying to provide solutions for?
Okay, that's a very good question, Lynn. Okay, first of all, if most of the people say there's no need of giving my property to property managers.
There you go.
Yeah, they always ask, this money that I'm paying to this property manager, when siwezi jifanyia, so I can do it by myself.
Tuwatume rent kwa MPESA.
Tuwatume kwa MPESA.
Yeah.
But let me just share a story that I just got the other day. This client who has 1 unit somewhere in this Nairobi. 1 unit, it's a maisonette. But now this client decided to just do it by herself. This client, he received a call because now the house was vacant. Then she decided to advertise by herself. So she just placed a banner on that. She placed a banner. Then this good tenant comes and calls and says, yes, I'm so and so. So for this now client decided to do the due diligence by herself. She interviews the tenant over the phone. Then she tells the client, just forward me your ID. I see. So the deal is going very much okay. After some time, they all agree that everything is okay. I've checked your records. Everything is okay. It's okay. You can go ahead and deposit the money. So now this tenant has paid through a check. And now the owner of this property had sent an account earlier for you to deposit the check in my account. So now once the check is deposited, after some time, this tenant calls the owner again and tells this person, I'm so sorry, it's like I made a mistake. I paid with an excess of 100K. Now, because now this person seemed to be a very good person, even in regards to the way now this tenant was talking, I think this lady was a bit fast because she, so sorry for that. Let me just refund you, because now this person was requesting for a refund.
Yes.
Very fast. You take your phone and refund 60,000.
Yes.
60,000 because now you don't have enough money on your MPESA. You just have 60 at that moment. So this person has decided to send 60,000. After some time, now the tenant calls again. Just remember to send the other 40. But no, this lady says, wait a minute, I'm just sending money, even I have not checked whether this check has cleared. Why am I so fast to return money without even checking whether this check has cleared on my side? Now this, when this person has decided to check on her account, on her bank account, whether this check has cleared, check him a bounce. A fake check. Conned. And now 60,000 is gone.
Wow.
Do you know, this client called me and told me, Lucy,
chukua hii nyumba
haraka sana. Chukua hii nyumba haraka sana, because what I've seen here, I would never want to deal with such a thing. What do I do now from here, Lucy? I just want to go and report. But now I told her, my friend, it's okay, yes, you're going to report, but I'm telling you the truth. These people, they know what they are doing. There's no way they can con you, and they know very well that they are going to be followed, and you're going to get them easily. You know, sometimes you use more money trying to chase money that you have lost. So I don't think there's any need. So in regards to the question that you have asked, you ask whether the reason as to why people should give their properties
to property managers.
Yeah, that is one of the reasons, because sometimes you might face such challenges. If you want to avoid high blood pressure, diabetes.
At least you are good at what you do.
Maybe if you want to avoid blood pressure, headache, diabetes, migraines, stress,
bounce checks,
fake sleeps, because even you have seen people who claim they have paid 20,000.
Yes.
But when you go to check in the account, it's only 1 bob.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, just give your properties to good property managers.
Yeah.
Because we have seen things being done to people out here. And again, imagine, Lynn, you will also want to grow as the owner of the property. Imagine you have one property, you don't want to give this property to a property manager. Are you thinking of growth? No, you're not thinking of growth because you have one property, but you would want to have more properties. By giving your property to a good property manager, this person is going to help you grow. Why? The reason as why I'm saying this is because now, when we deposit your money on a specific date, because now we ensure that we pay them on a specific date, the whole amount, then it's like we are in ile kutengeneza account, because there's consistency. This money coming in every time or every date. Let's say, for example, we say this money will be paid on 10th of every month. You see this consistency of paying your money. It's like a salary, which comes into your account every this day. And like now, this person pays you on this date, this other tenant pays you on this other date. But now for a good property manager, they are going to help you ensure that your money is paid, or your amount is paid on time. So that is one of the reasons. Again, rent schedules. What do I mean by rent schedules? The statements that we give our clients. Once we take your property to manage, we ensure that we give you your statement every month for you to reconcile. You might be having a caretaker in your property. So this caretaker is going to check. You know, most of the clients that we work for, some of them are not here in Kenya. They're in diaspora. So they just want someone who can go and cross-check whether what Great Mwanzo has paid is tallying with what is there pale kwa nyumba, whether inapelekana. So we give rent schedules. Whenever maybe this client is looking for a facility, the first thing they're going to ask is for the records. Because for banks, they only operate using those rent schedules. What about for you as the property owner? Do you have anything to show? No, you might not have, only a bank statement. But now it becomes very easy when you have a property manager, because of this statement that the bank is going to assess and now give you based on what you qualify for. So that's another good reason. Okay, when it comes to the vacant units, sometimes you see that maybe we have been given a property, there are no tenants, or maybe it has stayed for a very long time without tenants, based on maybe when we started in Kayole, I would remember we would go there and see some neglected properties. You know, there are some properties, yes, they are there, but they are neglected. But if they were managed well, I believe they can add value to the owner, because maybe the owner built this property, went to up country or went to another country. So now you see like there's nothing that is being taken care of. It's not clean. Exactly. Yeah, maybe tenants are complaining, some things are not done. There's no one.
Electricity.
Yeah, you see all those problems that comes with such problems. Now a good property manager is going to relieve you from all this stress. That is the other reason as to why you should give your property to a property manager. And again, the joint venture. The joint venture is where we partner with you. Then we assist you, we take you to the bank. If you are looking for a facility, we have partnered with different banks. It's not only one bank. There are several. There are several banks. So whenever you're in need of a facility, it's very easy. Like now, just yesterday, a client called me. She needed to purchase a vehicle. And it's a good vehicle because it's going for 7 million plus. Now this client called me, told me, Lucy, I need this amount of money. So I told her, yes, very fast. So I took her to one of those institutions, the financial institutions that I'm talking about. And she was told it's very okay. Turnaround time is 3 weeks. You'll have your own money. And she was very much okay. She said, that's why I like being with Great Mwanzo, because there are so many benefits. So whenever you want this, it's there.
Oh, so it's not just like property managing and stuff. You also go the extra mile to grow with your clients.
Exactly. We go the extra mile. We go the extra mile because we don't just believe in managing properties. We are not just managing buildings. You know, you are just being given a property, then you say, ni ile tu kufanya kwa property, the building itself. No, it's not just about buildings. It's about adding value to these properties. Because whenever I add value to you, Lynn, you have a property, that is the only way you can recommend me to another client. Or you can also add me more properties. Because I have seen some clients, it's like they are testing. They give you one property. They have several, but first of all, they give you one. When they see you're performing very well on this one, then they continue adding you pole that way. Yeah, you find like someone who started with one property. To date, we have like 5 properties for this person. So it means they just wanted to see how it goes. Pole. Then they continue adding new properties. Yeah.
I love that. Huh?
Yeah.
For you, what would you say this was our breakthrough moment? When did you realize this is not just a business? Yeah. This is a venture. This is great. This is what could potentially this is the outcome would be generational wealth after generational wealth.
Okay, maybe to take you back a bit, I think we didn't share about my dad who is late. Yes. It is important I share that.
Feel free.
Yeah, in 2018, we lost our dad. Our dad was a very strong man. We didn't see him getting sick. We never saw his weakness. We used to see him most of the time very strong, very happy, very jovial, because he was a people's person. My dad was a people's person. He was loved by so many people. So I remember this day when we were in the office and I looked at him. He was looking a bit disturbed. I didn't know what was happening because he never used to tell us that he was unwell. But now that day, when we were seated in the office, I looked at him and I saw him picking a dustbin and vomiting in that dustbin. So I asked him, Dad, are you unwell? He said, I'm not feeling very well. So after some time, we took him to the hospital because now we called the other relatives. We told them that from the way things are looking, it's like Dad is not okay. So we went to the hospital. And it was very saddening because he was told that he was suffering from kidney failure. Then he was told he's supposed to start dialysis. Immediately, yeah, immediately. I think he had pressure and he was taking medicine, which we didn't know of. So when he went to the hospital and he was admitted that day, because immediately we took him to the hospital, he was admitted. He told us I've been sick since 2015. Since 2015. But now I've been taking medicine, but now it is well. In fact, I had never seen someone on dialysis. I got very shocked because the way I would see the blood going in, coming out, I'd never seen that before. But now he continued with dialysis. He would go, the dialysis is okay. He continued very well for several sessions, in fact. So now we called for a family meeting where we decided that now it is important we arrange that we take him to India. So that we can know who is going to give him this kidney, because both of them had failed. So my sister and I, we were ready to give him the kidney. But when we were organizing, in fact, we planned even for a day. We called the other family members. We told them what we were thinking, and they were okay. But it was so sudden because that day never reached. Even he passed on before even that day reached.
Sorry.
That is how he rested. It was so sudden. In fact, he didn't even spend much time in hospital. So we said maybe it was the will of God, and things went the way it went. That was in 2018. We are left, we planned everything together with the other family members. We gave him a befitting send-off. We did everything. Although it came with a lot of challenges, It came with a lot of challenges because for the other family members, not everyone is happy with their success. Because even when Dad was alive, I would see even some of the family members who were like against him. Well, when you shine in your family, not everyone is going to be
happy for you.
To be happy. No, not everyone is going to be happy the way you are performing and the way you are going. My grandmother, the mother now to my dad, he loved Dad very much. He loved Dad very much. Reason being, Dad will take care of his expenses, be it medicine, be it his needs, his personal needs, everything. Dad used to take care of everything, not even looking at these other brothers or sisters. He will do everything by himself. So my grandmother used to love Dad very, very much. In fact, when he passed on in 2018, it didn't take long. It did not take long. Then my grandmother passed on the following year. 2019. Because now Shosho would ask, why not me? I wish God took me instead of my son. So it was a very hard moment on us, Lynn. But no, we had one choice. Either we decide to let his dream fade away with him, or keep the legacy. So, of course, we took time to grieve, because even as we continued, I remember the pastor who came to tell us, Dad, who came now just to ensure that he was together with us. He told us, now, Lucy and Tabitha, it is up to you to decide whether you want to look at your children, or you continue thinking about your dad and you're going to follow him. You will follow him if you can't accept what has happened. So it is, you let go, you let God. I said, remember those words up to date. He told us that it's you let go, you let God. And up to date, that is what has kept us, because sometimes we don't like focusing on what is not working. We like focusing on what is working, because you're always reminded that this life is full of surprises, things that even you don't even expect that they will happen, but they happen. You might have planned to have a very good, maybe you plan things, because all of us have plans, but things don't always go the way you have planned. Because I remember those days, I would ask myself, hey, my mom passed on when we were very young. Now again, Dad has gone. God, are you a fair God? Now as both of us, we don't have parents. Why is this happening? But now again, when I look back up to date, Lynn, I'm thankful to God. Why? Because my dad would involve us in everything. Literally everything. I remember even one point, he told me to write a certain letter for a client, and I told him, just give me the form and write for me how I'm supposed to write it. And he told me, just go and write the way you know. That is what he used to tell us. Yani, he made us responsible to an extent. Up to date, you can use your own brain to think of how you're going to do something. When he would send you somewhere, go to town to run a certain errand, you would ask, Dad, how do I go? Then he would tell you, if you were to go to America, unge survive aje. Just go and figure out.
Tough love.
Tough love. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, tough love. Dad now decided that it is time now to purchase a certain system. One thing I like about my dad is that even as we continued working, Dad would say he used to do things right. He used to do things right. Even when we had a very small office, he had files. Files were arranged. Client number 1, client number 2. The contract you have signed, you as the owner of the building, the tenant forms for this property, everything was well arranged and saved in a very good way, such that if you want to retrieve this file, it's very easy for you to go to that shelf and retrieve the file. Because he used to talk about record keeping. He was telling us that a poor record keeping can really mess your life.
There you go.
That is one thing that we learned from that, up to date. And for sure, we have seen his words work, because I remember at some point, a property in Kayole Junction. Now, we have given this unit to a certain tenant. This tenant is kidnapping kids. Imagine, and putting putting those kids in that house. So I remember so many people, my CID, coming to their office, asking, where is the lease agreement? Where is a copy of ID for this tenant? But now we had everything. After we went to the file, we did a copy, we gave them. It really share happen. Yeah. The other thing I learned from my dad, my late dad, may his soul rest in peace, because he was a good father, because he was a generous man. Yeah. Though he didn't have much, because now living employment, starting your own business, you don't have much. I learned that it is important for you to save something small for a rainy day. Good. That is what he used to emphasize, even as we continued working in this company together. He used to say, it's good to set something aside. It's not good to like eat everything. Yeah, this is what I'm earning, then everything, you pay bills, you are left with nothing. He used to say, kesi inakujanga, kesi inaweza tokelezea, now you can use a lot of money. You see. So he taught us that it is important to set like an emergency fund just for things, maybe a rainy day. Yeah. So mostly those are the things that I've learned from Dad.
I love it. That you know, some of these lessons are the ones many people might undermine in business. Save something small. I hope you are still saving something small for a rainy day.
Yes, we are.
The record keeping. The systems. When you said he purchased a system, I've noticed also to grow without systems and structures is really hard. And I feel like that's one of the challenges.
Let me tell you, Lynn. Hey, over time we have seen things. I'm telling you. You try to think ati wewe ni mjanja is the business owner. The employees, ni wajanja kukushinda. Yani, it's like they have a degree on how to do things.
I know.
Because we purchased a system, yes. Not even one system, because over time we have kept on reviewing, advancing the system. You purchase this system, you see like there's a lot of manual work. You move from this system to this other one. Because one of the things my dad used to do, he embraced technology 100%. He never wanted to at any given time. And maybe that is one of the reasons as to why this company has remained relevant up to this day. Because we are not left behind. In regards to technology, we don't want to be left behind. Because we have seen instances whereby when we started collecting money by cash, kwa mkono, you'd give someone a receipt book. They're supposed to write a receipt. Lynn has paid 5,000. Now, see, it's carbonated. This person, anatoa ya juu, anakuandikia. Ya chini, the carbonated yenye analeta kwa ofisi, anaandika ile amount anataka. So, atafikisha a less amount. Lakini unaona sasa kwa carbon ameandika the amount he wants. But the tenant has paid a more amount. So, you mathogotanios, those things that are now before you reconcile with the tenant. You are telling this tenant you paid 3,000. But according to the tenant, me, I paid 5,000. What is happening? Maybe this person has left the organization because they know what I've done, the damage I've done. Then he disappears. Then you are left with those struggles. Hey. Wacha tu. The things we have seen. Then after now we realize, because whenever you realize that, I always say, if you're running a company, one thing, because yes, you can have a lot of business, but if you don't have good internal controls, then there must be a challenge. Because it's like, yes, you are fetching water, but huku chini, it's like the way you fetch water with a broken bucket inamwagika huku chini. Because you might be wondering, I'm collecting money. Why can't I see where the money is going? But now these people, they know the things they use. And sometimes we have seen even in our company that stealing, it's like a chain. Wanashikana. The person who is at the reception is supposed to be checking the receipts, doing the manual receipts. The person who is seated on this other side. Wanashikana wote. Because at some point while doing business, we have seen ourselves sending like 5 people home at once together. Why? Because when you try and trace what has been happening, then you see this person is the one who was assisting these other guys to do their thing. So we have learned that it is very important to have checks and balances in your company, to have good systems, and also to keep on reviewing. Even for you as the business owner, be hands-on. At some point, just keep on checking the records. Don't just ignore everything. You just say, no, I'm comfortable. Everything is running well. I have a system. I have the right people. Then you just think it's now grammar. As you sit down I'm telling you, these people, they are going to show you dust. Yes.
Love it. But also, I'm going to go back to my question on your breakthrough, the moment you realized, okay, this is good.
Yeah.
But before that, it's a family-run business.
Yes.
Hamgwarizani kichwa, you and your sister, you are not like, utaniambia, you are not telling your dad, I can even go look for another job somewhere. This is not the only place I can work. Are you not having family conflict? And if so, how would you be able to solve that?
Okay, that's a very good question, Lynn. I remember when we were growing up together with my sister, we used to fight a lot. In fact, we used to fight a lot. I remember at one point, tulichapana mpaka tutararuana manguo.
Boy, siblings.
Ata sometimes we sit down and ask, na tulikuwa tunachapania nini? Because today we are best of friends.
Mimi nishakimbisha sister yangu stage anipe jacket. I look back. In defense, I was so young, guys. Don't tell me. It was raining, and she took one of my favorite coats without borrowing.
My sister, we have cried, fought battles that no one saw. We have been through it all, but we thank God. So the biggest breakthrough came when we were approached by banks. Yes, when we were approached by banks, because now, when we were approached by the first bank, which is Equity Kayole, yeah, it's good I mentioned,
Go on, feel free.
The other banks started now approaching us. So over time, even recently, we were approached by a certain circle. So they keep on approaching us. Why? Because now, over time, they have known that this company is a credible institution. That is when now we got our biggest breakthrough. Because I remember that time we started getting so many clients who would join the bank at the same time, join Great Mwanzo. And I think this product was well needed by people. Because yes, they wanted to build. Maybe someone has done this property up to 2nd floor. They want to do up to 5th floor, but now they don't have the finances. But now here is a product that has been introduced by banks. And one of the conditions is that you have to be with Great Mwanzo for you to get this product. You know, most of the clients join the company.
So is that the bank protecting itself in making sure that, yes, if we commit to this project, you guys come in as the managers, they know they'll get their money back?
Okay. Okay, let me just clarify on that. Okay, what happens, the reason as to why they prefer property managers, there's a document they call deed of rental assignment. Deed of rental assignment, whereby it's a tripartite agreement. We sign, the client signs, and the bank signs. Whereby now this client is told that you're not supposed to terminate the contract when you have not finished paying for this loan. So I think they safeguard themselves, because we have seen at some point there are these property owners, they go to the bank, they borrow, then they divert. They start now collecting money from the tenants directly. Ile ya kuchukua kwa mkono. So you see, when for the property managers, once we have signed this tripartite agreement, then there's no way you can fail to remit this money to this bank account. So it is a way of safeguarding themselves. Yeah, for the banks. Yeah,
I love it. I think also it affords a lot of people opportunities who don't have as you said, most of the houses. People don't have the title deeds. It's the leases, the
allotment letter, certificate. Exactly. So for the banks, once they do their due diligence, they do informal charge. Because when you have a title, now they do the charge. But now you don't have a title either, you have certificate, allotment, then they do the informal charge. Yes. I remember at one point, there's another property in Soweto. I don't know whether you have ever heard of Soweto.
Come on now, Lucy. Girl.
Hey, Lynn, we have seen it all. It is by the grace of God that I'm seated right here. Now, this client comes to the office. He has signed the contract. We have gone to this property. Now he's saying, I've introduced Great Mwanzo in an official way through writing. He does the introduction letters, take the letters to the tenants. Then what happens after they sign now the contract, as we go to the tenants door to door, telling them now, following from next month, you'll be paying into this account, the details, we pick the details, then they're supposed to sign. For the tenants now, they're supposed to sign, then we keep these records into our office. So when my people went there, it was raining that day, I remember. Do you know, I'll never forget. I don't know whether I'm supposed to be laughing or crying.
You tell us to kuamulia.
You know what happened? They were locked in there. so many people were called, wakakuja wakafungiwa, wakaanza kuchapwa. Imagine. So now one of the guys called me. Akaniambia, huku kwenye mlitutuma tumeanza kuchapiwa huku ndani na tumefungiwa. We have been locked in here. You know, I got shocked when I went there because I realized that this property is like there was a family. Yeah, yes. A conflict family. Now this guy was saying it is my property. Another brother was saying it is mine. Property. Exactly. Now that's why he organized for a group of men to come now and
beat the agents.
And beat now the agents. I went very fast to the police station. We went there. We succeeded, but I think these people were up to even finishing up these guys. It's like I don't know what happened because they never knew these people were sent. I don't know what happened. So from that day, I learned a lesson. I learned a lesson that whenever we are going to take on a property, if it has conflict, well, we don't want those ones because that day we would have faced it rough. Yeah.
Talking of people's now, the tenants' relationship with the agents. I've seen some people say, oh, agent hata alinikatia maji, alinikatia stima. Mbona mnafanyanga hivyo? Ujui Kenya tunaumia si wote sasa. Is that a thing? Is that a thing? And also, can agents do that legally? Can you do that?
Okay, no, first of all, Lynn, you know, we are regulated by the government. Yes. There's a body that regulates the estate agent. It's called Estate Agent Registration Board. Okay. For you to do this business, you're supposed to be a member of this body. You're supposed to be part of that. So, speaking sincerely, it is not allowed by the law. Yeah. It's not allowed by the law to do that. But now, you know, when we were starting in Kayole, all of us keep on learning. Yes. Because you can't say that I was born knowing everything. At some point, you have to keep on educating yourself, self-development. You get even to, you want to be conversant with the law. You want to just know that you're doing things right. So, hiyo kukata stima na maji, sometimes it's just a disciplinary measure. And sometimes, if you want to do that, it is important to put it on the agreement so that this tenant knows if I've not paid rent on time.
These are the consequences.
These are the consequences. It's good you have an agreement. It's like an accountability agreement. Accountability agreement that I'll be paying my rent on this certain date, but failure to which, then authorize this company or this owner of this property to come and disconnect my power, to disconnect electricity, such thing, depending on whether you have agreed.
But put it on paper.
Put it on paper. It is important to put it on paper so that this tenant does not say then you have done against what is supposed to be done. But again, Lynn, it is also important to emphasize because, you know, for the tenants, because even for me, I've been a tenant. Yes. I've been a tenant because I used to live in Kayole. I've stayed in Kayole and I know the hassles that go with staying in Kayole. Even at some point, I remember my electricity was disconnected because I had not paid rent on time. I had not paid rent on time. Nilikuwa nakaa double room Kayole pale Sabasaba. And now the tenants who are there, they would ask, "Dosi kwani kwako hakuna stima?" Nawaambia, mimi napenda tu kukaa kwa ile kujisai tu. Napenda kukaa kwa giza.
Sipendi stima.
Sipendi stima.
Sipendi light ya.
Sasa hiyo.
Na natural body. So umekatiwa.
Nimekatiwa. So it is important for all of us to understand. We all come from somewhere. Aki, most of these people, they don't build using their own money. They go to the bank, borrow for them to build. Sometimes you think that maybe they're taking these measures and they have a lot of money. That is not the case. For this person who has invested, these are...
I agree though.
Yeah, these are people...
the loans,
you understand. The loans, because someone has gone to the bank, borrowed a facility, you put up this building. For the banks, there's no you're going to tell them that Lucy has not paid. That's why I'm not going to pay for the loan. In fact, if you default in paying, maybe they have told you you're supposed to pay 5th of every month. If you don't pay on that day, then it starts attracting penalties. What do you expect for the property owner? For sure. So it is important even for us to understand because what I've seen, Lynn, because I also have employees in my company, sometimes it's like people live beyond their means. It's good people just
to live within their means.
Within their means. Like, how do you tell someone who is earning a salary of 20,000 staying in a house of 35,000? Does it add up? Something is not right. What you see? Something.
But are the profit margins in property management good? Lucy, is the money good? Tuone ka tuna change career tuingie property management.
Property management, it's not easy. It's not for the faint-hearted. It is for those people who can adapt very easily, because you know, sometimes people look at people. Yeah, it's like the way you look at a vehicle. Yes. You admire this vehicle, but you don't even care who is inside that vehicle. Yes. You admire the vehicle.
How they got it.
How they got the car. Yeah, that is what I'm trying to say. You don't want to know the process. Behind the scenes, what is happening. So property management, it's not an easy job, of course, yes, but it's doable to those people who are willing to adapt. It's changing very fast. In fact, if you look at the houses which were done by the time we started doing this business, that is 2009, and today, the houses have changed way very much. Yes. You see, even today, there are automated lightings. Yeah. When you go to the buildings, zinajizima light. Yes. You have seen those things. Yeah. So things are changing. So for you, if you want to start this business, not for the faint-hearted, yes, but it's doable.
So it's good.
Not
if
bad.
You master, it's not bad.
If you master, it's not bad.
Thank you for not gatekeeping. We can see, Lucy. We can see. Yeah. We can see it's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. At the same time, this takes a lot of integrity. Integrity is needed because now these are people's money. Yes. You might forget and think now that this money that is being paid into my account, because now you see tenants pay into our account. Yes. Then as we pay the owners on a specific date, depending on what the contract says. Yes. So sometimes you might think that this is my money. So you forget and you start investing using clients' money. I'm telling you, I have kids and I want... Me for sure I have kids. Yes. I want when I go to sleep, I sleep. Yes. I don't want stress. Atisaki kuamuka nitapitia wapi, nitajificha wapi. I don't want that.
I love the idea of this having been your father's vision and him passing it down to his children. And sometimes I think why it's hard, it's because sometimes the parents, they worry, if something happens to me or I pass on, will my children continue this legacy? Do you think that's a concern to most people, especially when it comes to now inheritance or doing business together with their children, and how should people stand in and close that gap?
Okay, thank you for that question, because I believe doing this business, property management, I've seen so many parents, they don't want to involve their kids in their businesses. Why? I can't really tell the reason as to why, but maybe it's lack of maybe knowledge, because I believe if we are exposed, I don't know where my dad got this from, because from day one, he wanted us to do this business. In fact, at some point, I told him, I just want to go and look for a job. And for sure, I went.
And
I went, like for 3 years.
For 3 what? Months?
For 3 years.
3 years.
I was away like for 3 years.
Yeah.
But my sister was still in the same company. My sister has been there since, from the time we started. But now, I went there like for 3 years. Then after some time, Dad called me and told me, Lucy, why don't you just come back to this work? Just come back, we do this work, so that we can show you how it's done. By that time, I told him, nitafikiria, nikuambie. I'll think about it. So I just decided, after some time, I thought through, then I said, it's okay, then let me just go back. Yes. So for parents, it is important, I advise them, it is important for you to involve your kids, especially at a very early age. You know, for many children, the reason as to why maybe they don't want to embrace their parents' business is because they don't know what is done in that business. And sometimes they feel like, if now we are exposed in this business, and sometimes you feel for the people who are employed there, it's like they are given the powers more than for you. You as the child of this person who is running, who is the owner of the business. So I feel it's like some things you're not being told what is happening. So sometimes I find it's very funny, because what about an employee even getting to know nitty-gritties of this business? Yes. And for your child, they don't have any idea of what can I call them? Business secrets. Business secrets. You know, for every business, there are secrets. You're supposed to expose your kids to all these businesses, like what my dad did. The reason as to why we are proudly carrying on his legacy is because now he showed us everything from registering the company with the register of companies, yani from zero, an open check, a closed check, what is supposed to be done, how you're supposed to go to the bank, P&L. In fact, my dad would involve even those people from a very early age. They will come, we have a meeting, they do the management report, they present to us. They will used to tell us, you're supposed to cut on this, you're supposed to do this, financial advice. At a very early age, we were shown how things are supposed to be done. So it is important for parents to involve their children in their businesses so that they get to learn everything, literally everything. Even if they maybe to decide later on, I just want to continue doing this business, I just want to continue doing other things, then it is important they have the skills and learn of their parent business. Because you can even make it an empire. Like now what we plan with my sister, God's willing, we are planning even to hand over this torch now to the next generation that is coming. Those people who are willing, then they can take it to the next level. Yeah.
And are you personally exposing your children? You said you have a 15-year-old.
Yeah.
Have you started explaining to, is it a he or a she?
A he.
Have you tried explaining to him, Daddy, now this is how things are done here? Is your sister doing the same? Are you guys exposing your children to this?
Yeah, my sister has 3 right now, may have 4. And what we have done for the firstborn, her firstborn who is a daughter, and my firstborn who is 15 years old, together with my daughter who is also 10 years old, we have started explaining. We have started now preparing them psychologically. This is a family business. It was started by your grandfather. This is what we do, pole pole too. But now, the best time, we are planning to start doing it fully, at least when they finish Form 4, when they turn 18 years old.
Beautiful.
But we have started explaining to them, at least they know.
They know what moms and auntie do.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, they know.
Beautiful.
Know. Yeah.
This is not an ad, but I want to give you an opportunity because I know there are a lot of our audience who are watching. And this conversation is also important because I know there is a gap. I see a lot of our audience building and buying properties, but I think the gap is who can I trust with my property. I even have a couple of emails, someone saying I've built this, but I don't know who I can trust with my property. Na unajua sometimes people will be like, project manager wangu, watu wende waka uko 4 months, ananiambia, hakuna mtu, nyumba haijaipata client, hakuna mtu. So for the people who are watching, and this is a gap they are trying to fill, why Great Mwanzo? Why Lucy?
Okay, thank you so much, Lynn, for that opportunity. First of all, I would say, Great Mwanzo, we are not just managing buildings, we are nurturing people's dreams, because I believe these are people's dreams. And for you to build even a house worth 100,000 shillings, you need to have like 10 million. For you to have saved 10 million to get a return of 100,000, it's not easy. It's not easy. For those people who have built, they can tell you that it takes a lot of effort, a lot of kujinyima. Ile yani you just want to say, I'm not going to buy this, I'm not going to do this, so that you can get to see this property standing. And most of them have worked for so many years, just thinking that after I retire, because at some point, the strength that I have right now, it won't be the same after some years. In my sunset years, I'll be using this property. Maybe it will help me in paying for my bills. So we understand that very well. That is the reason as to why we take those properties as ours. You know that law of you plant, you harvest. You plant, you harvest. For we personally as a company, we like applying the principles of God in doing business. What do I mean? I mean, like now the law of ownership. When you give me this property, I don't just take this property like it is a business. I just want to take it like it's my own. When I take this business like it's my own, then I'll be in a position to do it in a very good way. But when I see this is Lynn's property, then I won't take care of it. It's like the way you buy a vehicle, you give it to a driver. So by the time they are driving, they go hitting all the potholes because they are not their own. Car. But when you take it like the law of ownership, this is my own thing, then you're going to take care. You're even going to question these people, ask them, kwa nini hii nyumba naona imekaa vacant hivi? Nikiangalia hapa kwa system hii nyumba ijawaija. 3 months now and this house is still vacant. Then there must be a problem. So whenever I question that way, I set targets for my people. I tell them, no, there's no way a house can remain vacant for more than 3 months. You see, at least we're adding value. So first of all is adding value to the property owner, because we take the property as ours. The other thing, we ensure that if your units are not filled, we come in as Great Mwanzo. we ensure that we fill up your houses. And we advertise through social media platforms, through putting banners, through working with the area brokers who are nearby. We ensure that we work with them just to ensure that we fill up the houses very fast. And maybe sometimes you might find that this person has used a lot of money to construct a certain house. So it's like they are failing, then they're supposed to charge a very high rent just to get the returns. But sometimes we advise them, we tell them, the reason as to why your house is remaining vacant for a very long time, it is because you are charging way too high. That's why your house is not getting somebody. But if you are to lower a bit, then your houses can get filled up very fast. Then after some time, you can think of adding. So when it comes to that advice, we are going to advise you. Another thing is what we talked about, that we have partnered with so many financial institutions, whereby if you're looking for a facility, we ensure that we assist you. We take you to one of those financial institutions, then you are given a facility. If you are looking to maybe to construct another building, or maybe to renovate, or maybe ulikwama mahali, you just want to continue building, we can assist you in that service. I remember there's a client in Thika. This client came to Great Mwanzo, akatupatia property yake. But now we were sabotaged by the family members who are there. The sister started saying, hey, Great Mwanzo, you know, by the time I was the one managing this property, I used to get a lot of money. Now this is grapevine that we'll hear now kutoka huko chini. This is grapevine because she could not tell us. So she sabotaged. She started giving her sister things that were not true. This client decided now to terminate her property with Great Mwanzo. So we said it is okay. But do you know what? After some time, now this client now decided there's no way I can build a building and I can't see any return on my investment. So she called me again. She told me, Lucy, now I have decided fully that I'm deciding to give you, there are two of them, two properties. I have decided fully that I want to give you my properties. And from that time up to date, we are in good terms. She's very happy with the service, because by that time, do you know, the sister will take a lot of money from her building, but now when asked where is the money, nothing to show. So I really feel for the people who are in diaspora. For the people who are in diaspora, they have a challenge, especially leaving their houses to caretakers, to their relatives. Then they tell them that your house is, there's nothing that is coming out on the properties, or the tenants are not paying. What magic happens when you hire a property manager, then you start seeing return on investment? It means something is not being done right. The beauty with a property manager is that they're going to do the whole package, ensuring that your property is kept clean, because now your property has to be appealing for it to have tenants. If maybe the maintenance is neglected, you also communicate to the owner. We tell them this is what needs to be done. We have checked the rooms are this way, maybe the lighting, everything. So if there's anything to do with the maintenance that needs to be done, then you're also going to assist the property owner, just to know that maybe this is supposed to be done so that we can increase on the value. So all those things and so many other things, Lynn, it is important for people to give their properties to us.
Okay. I appreciate the gap that you are closing in. You know, you are saying that, and I just remembered a story of one of my friends, but he's in diaspora, and he left the house for a relative. And he used to be told, nyumba hazina watu. And he used to be told, I think the rent was 15,000. But he used to be told that watu wanalipa 10,000 tu ajalipa. There are just so many stories around properties. But that's why they say sometimes you have to hire a professional.
Exactly.
But I want to wind up. Before I do that, is there anything you want to briefly touch on? If not, what would be your parting shot to our audience, and also how can people connect with you?
Okay. Okay, thank you very much for that, Lynn. Okay, my parting shot would be Great Mwanzo. We started in a very humble way. I think it's Zachariah 4:10 which says that do not despise the humble beginning. Even the way we started, we have not forgotten, and we keep on reminding ourselves that we started in a very humble way. It is important we don't forget the roots where we started in Kayole, and now we're in Westlands. But it is important to know that even as you continue managing properties for other people, just make sure that you do it with a lot of humility, integrity, transparency. You do your work diligently. It is important when you do your work right, then even you don't have to force people to come to your business. It's only that maybe even as we are seated here, Lynn, Maybe there could be someone who has been asking himself or herself, where can I get a good property manager? Because maybe they have gone through struggles. So much struggles. They did a business, they did a building, but there's no return on investment. So it is important for you, even as a business person, to ensure that just do your business diligently. The fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. God gives wisdom, and you know how to do things. Quick gratifications or quick wins, wachana na hizo, hazitakupeleka mahali, they won't take you anywhere. But now, the beauty of now saying, Lynn, referring another client to your business, how do you feel? You feel fulfilled. Amazing. You feel fulfilled. Yes. And again, Lynn, maybe I don't want to forget this. I just want to talk to one of my clients who will be turning 84 this Saturday. They are celebrating together with my daughter who is turning.
Two.
True. Terrible too.
Beautiful too.
Yeah, they're celebrating together, so we'll be going to her place in Joska. In fact, they have been one of our prayer intercessors for this company. Mr. and Mrs. Getiha, if you're watching us or you're going to watch this, I just want to appreciate you. They have stood with us. They have been our prayer intercessors ever since we opened the doors. Yeah, they're like our parents. We always go to their place and feel very well. Yeah, we'll be taking a cake there on Saturday. Yes. We are going to say hi to them. Yes. Yeah.
Wasalimie sana.
I'll say hi to them.
You know, you are so easy to talk to. Your energy is beautiful. You are so easy to talk to.
Thank you.
And I hope our audience get to learn a thing or two from here. And I know, obviously, as I said, potentially someone is watching this, and as you said, they are looking just for, they've been looking. Maybe we did this episode because of them. How can they connect with you?
Okay. You can find us in different platforms. Our website is www.greatmwanzovaluers.co.ke. Website again, www.greatmwanzovaluers.co.ke. You can also find us through, you can write us an email. You can use info@greatmwanzovaluers.co.ke. You can also call this number 0790 777 000. 0790 777 000.
Okay.
Yes.
0790 0790 777 000.
Yeah.
Bayeni chai kukramina mpaka yo guys si rahisi. It's a lot of work. Good. But Lucy, thank you so much for being our amazing guest on today's episode. I think I've gotten a thing or two. Maybe not just the business aspect of it, but I really do love the discipline and the values that your father instilled in you, and also knowing years later whatever it is that he would even tell you to do and you would think, now you can be able to see why, or the impact it has, which is beautiful. And I hope people can look at you and your sister and see why it is important for parents to trust their children with a certain business, because I think the legacy is beautiful. I think where dad is, he's happy about you guys. I think the legacy, as you can see, it's very beautiful. So
in fact, I would want to tell my dad in absentia, because he's not here, that we miss him every day. But now one thing that we are proud of, the values that he instilled in us, that is what has carried us through. He taught us not to ever interchange integrity for shortcut.
Thank you.
And we are happy because whenever we remember about dad, even when we do his anniversaries, we always remember that dad said it is wrong to do this, it's right to do this. And by following his steps, we are still watering the seed that he planted with a lot of love. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Continue resting in peace, the same way to your mothers. And I hope our audience can get to check you guys out and see the wonderful things that you are doing. And I love that you've told us the money is good, the profit margins. Ukiniona hapo tasa LNN value and itini property. Guys, it's not my, that is not what God, that's not what God has called me to do. But I really hope that this interview, even if it was just meant for one person, it has served the purpose that it was meant to serve. I think for me, my take home are definitely two. And I love what she just said as she concluded. Please do not trade integrity for shortcuts. There is a whole you know, the people are crazy about the microwave success and this is, you know, guys, easy come, easy go. It is what it is. Easy come, easy go. And I also loved the verse that she did quote. And I always say, please, please do not despise the magic of small beginnings. Do not despise. And also it's these jobs zenye zinakaanga. See jobs hazikai aesthetics mingi. Guys, hapo ndio pesa iko. So I hope if you've always wanted to be a property manager, you can look at Lucy's story and it can inspire you. And maybe if that's a dream that you've given up on, why don't you now action on it? And you never know. But I'm interested in your take home on today's conversation. If you want to connect with them, their contact details are on your screen right now, and they will also be pinned on our comment section. But let me know what your take home has been. And if there's anything you can't share with me on the comment section, our email is very much open for you, info@lnn.digital. Please find me there. Sawa sawa. All right, see you guys tomorrow, hopefully 10 a.m. or 7 p.m. Bye bye.